back to my kitchen. My name is Mindy Banks. I'm the flip-flop chef, and today I'm going to show you a brand new recipe from Pampered Chef. It's ravioli lasagna, and it's featured in the fall 2022 Season's Best Cookbook. So if you're familiar with Pampered Chef and you collect these, you're going to definitely want to add this to your collection. So I'm really excited to share this. I'm going to make a couple of alterations to the recipe just so that it is the way that my family would like to eat it, and also to use some of the ingredients that I already had on hand. So this recipe calls for frozen spinach, which I would love, but the rest of my family would just pick it out anyways, and I typically don't have frozen spinach on hand. I have fresh spinach, which I could chop up and use, but I'm just gonna leave it out this time. I'm also gonna add in some ground beef. That's not included in the recipe, but if you guys know my husband Keith, he's gonna have to have some meat in his lasagna. So this recipe is featured in the Season's Best, and it'll be available beginning September 1st, 2022. So as you're joining, I would love to know where you're watching from, and also if this is the first time that you've watched one of my videos, please hit the subscribe button and also tap the bell so that you know that you'll be notified next time that and every time that I upload new content, which is almost every day during the week, and so I have a lot of great content to share with you. I'm going to be featuring some of Pampered Chef's new fall, winter 2022 products, including that Season's Best. And if you're already checking out our new rectangle baker, this thing is phenomenal, and I'm excited to use it with you guys today. It comes with this really cool baking tray that also doubles as a lid, so I'll tell you more about that as we get into this recipe. But I want to show you this because I'm afraid I'll forget if I don't start out with this. This is a new utensil clip. So this little guy right here will attach to most bowls, cookware pieces, and serving dishes. So you just hook it on the side, and whoops, helps if I pay attention to where I'm putting this here, right? So hook it right on the side, and then you can slide your serving spatula or utensil right in there so that it's not laying on the counter or the stove top while you're serving something out of the dish. So that's a utensil clip. I'm gonna definitely be buying several of these so that I can use multiple at one time, especially around the holidays. So let's talk about this stoneware baker, and I'm going to go ahead first and finish browning this ground beef. So let me tell you about that before we talk about the baker. I'm going to take the lid off. This is our glass lid, and it comes with this skillet. Actually, let me set it over here because we're not going to use it. And this is our new silicone helper handle. I have another one right here because this pan may get hot on your stovetop depending on how long you have it on the burner, or if you're using a gas stovetop, those handles are going to get hot much faster than if you're using an induction like me or any other electric cooktop. I'm going to take our mixer chop, and I'm just going to finish crumbling up this ground beef. It was already almost cooked before I started the video. I wanted to be ahead of the game for you guys because I always like to make sure that I make these videos as quick as possible because I know your time is valuable, and I appreciate that you take time to spend a little bit of it in my kitchen with me. Now, if you're new to my channel, make sure you also go to theflipflopchef.com, click the button at the top of the page, and then you'll be able to join my recipe community. I have thousands of recipes and a giveaway every single Friday. So let's get back to this beautiful piece of stoneware here. So it's a rectangular baker, and it has a lid that doubles as a baking tray. So we're going to make ravioli lasagna in the dish, and we're going to make garlic breadsticks on the tray. How cool is that? So we'll start cooking the lasagna first, and while it's going in the oven, we're going to make our breadsticks on the tray, and then we'll add this tray right on top so that it doubles as a lid to keep the lasagna from browning too much on the top while it finishes up. So I'm going to set this aside for the moment, and I'm also going to set our baker aside because we got to get all of this together. So our beef is almost done here, and I'm going to drain this off. Now I'm using more than I need for this recipe, and so this is a great time for me to suggest that you cook once, serve twice. So if you shop at Aldi like I do, I buy the ground beef in the packages that have about 2.5 pounds of ground beef. Most recipes call for a pound or a pound and a half. And so I just go ahead and cook all of it at the same time and separate it like in half so that you can use half today and half for another recipe. So that's what we're going to do really quickly. We're going to drain this off. I'm going to use our glass mixing bowl and our stainless colander. I'm just going to pour off that grease right inside. So let me move this. Now this handle, it is not hot. It's a little bit warm right here at the base, but even I could grab right there and it's not going to burn. So I'm going to just pour this off and pour it into the bowl. I'm pouring away from me for a couple of reasons. I'm pouring away so that it don't splash on me, and also because that steam, it'll direct it away from me. I'm gonna wipe out this pan, but did you guys see how easy that just poured right out? Nothing sticks to this pan. So I'm gonna just take some paper towels and I'm gonna wipe this clean because I'm gonna put half of this meat back in this cookware. And if you're looking at this cookware and thinking, man, I've never seen that from Pampered Chef, it is a new line of cookware. It's our Brilliance cookware line. I love it, and I have another video just showing you all about that cookware. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna use half of this for this recipe and half for another. So I'm gonna take my silicone scoop and serve, and I'm gonna scoop out about half of this. Let me just rub this around a little bit, make sure we get out all that grease. So I'm gonna put half of this back in my skillet, and I'm gonna season this with our everything but the taco seasoning. I think that's probably good. So let me set this aside because we're gonna add this in to our ravioli dish in just a little bit. Let's see, I'll set this here. I'm gonna be moving things around today to make sure we get everything done. Now what I'm gonna do, I didn't get a measuring spoon out for this. I'm just gonna estimate about a tablespoon, maybe 2 teaspoons for this everything taco seasoning, and then I'm going to add a little bit of water. I may add a little bit more of that. The reason I'm going to add the water is just so that this will kind of mix in to our ground beef. So this is going to be for another recipe. So let's see, I may have to just wash this in between. I didn't bring out enough scrapers. So I'm just going to toss this in the water and the taco seasoning, and yeah, I definitely want a little bit more taco seasoning. I measure with my heart, you guys. Who else out there measures with their heart? So I like to just go by the look, or you can just mostly tell by the look if you have enough seasoning when it's something like this. So, all right, so we've got our everything taco seasoning ready to go in our ground beef. So we can have tacos for one meal, and we're gonna use the rest in our ravioli lasagna. So I'm gonna transfer this over to my leak-proof storage container. Now for this one, there's not any steam, and I'm not draining off any grease. So I'm just gonna strain it this way because it's a little bit easier on me. And again, easy to clean, no mess. I'm gonna set this on my stovetop so that I don't take up too much space in my sink, and I'll unplug my burner and free up a little more space for me for the rest of our recipe. All right, so let's wash this off. And if you wash our scrapers in the dishwasher every time, especially after you use recipes like this with red sauce or taco sauce, then they're not going to permanently stain. So that's the trick. You need to wash them all the time in the dishwasher. I just rinse this one off right away, but it'll go in the dishwasher after I use this for our pasta. Now we have our everything taco meat here for tacos later. I'm not going to put the lid on here yet, but this is a leak-proof lid, and I want that to cool down. So I'll just set that aside for the moment. Move it over a little bit. I did use that middle burner not too long before I went live, so I don't want to mess up that container. All right, you ready to make the lasagna? This is so quick and so easy. So what we're going to do first is we're going to get our sauce ready to go. I want to show you our micro cookers. We have them in a set, but they're 3 different sizes sold separately as well. You have the 1 quart, 2 quart, and 3 quart micro cooker plus. So the prices, you'll see that they're different when you get to this 3 quart plus, because it does more than these two. So these two just have a steaming lid on the top, and so you can use these for steaming vegetables, reheating leftovers, microwaving just about anything that you can think of. We use these just about every single day for something. Christian eats tons of soup, and he loves hot dishes, and so we use this almost every day to heat up his lunch to go on a thermos for him to take to school. But plenty of times he'll just heat up his food and eat it right out of this bowl. So you can eat out of them if you like. This is the 3 quart. Now the 3 quart has an extra lid. Whoops, let's see. So you see how this has this inner lid? This inner lid makes it possible for you to cook things like pasta and rice and other starchy foods without it making a huge mess into your microwave. That starchy water will sort of collect here on the top, and when you're done cooking, you can just toss that in the sink. So I think this is gonna fit in our 2-quart, but just in case, I have the 3-quart ready to go. So for this, we are going to combine the pasta sauce, diced tomatoes, and Italian seasoning in a microwavable bowl. So I have homemade pasta sauce. I made this in our deluxe cooking blender, and this has actually been in the freezer, so I've let it defrost so that it's not frozen anymore, and I love making sauces in the deluxe cooking blender. I'm just gonna pour this over here. I don't want it to splash on me. And these are BPA-free mason jars, so I love those. They're dishwasher safe as well. I'm gonna add 1 can of diced tomatoes to this. Now I know this is a pop top, but I don't want myself or anybody else cutting themselves if this goes in the trash can and they're helping take out the garbage, because we do recycle here. So I'm gonna just put this right on the top, just like that. So you see how it attaches on the front and the top. And by starting at the front, you know when you've gone all the way around. So you just twist, twist, twist. When you bypass the front of the can, you'll also feel that tension release a little bit. So the more you use this, the less you're gonna have to look at the can and pay attention to where you started and where you end. To take this off, you're gonna turn counterclockwise and it just releases the can from the can opener. And then there's a button on one side that you can pinch and pop that right off. So I'm gonna pour this, and this is diced tomatoes undrained. I wanted to make sure I didn't forget a step there. And then we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of Pampered Chef's Italian seasoning. So 1, 2. I'm gonna give this a little stir. I'm just gonna use our scoop and spread for this. Give this a little stir, and then I'll put this in the microwave. It says to microwave it for 5 minutes covered. And remember, this is our 2-quart micro cooker, and stir it halfway through. So I'm gonna do 2.5 minutes, and then I'll stir it. So let me take this over to the microwave. I'll be right back. You can see she doesn't mind. I'm in her way. She's not in my way, right? Okay, so let's get our pasta all mixed together. So in this recipe, I'll just read it to you and tell you what it says. It says spoon 1/3 of the sauce in the bottom of the baker, place 1/3 of the ravioli over the sauce in a single layer, crumble half of the spinach over the ravioli, top with the spinach with 1/3 of cheese, and repeat. Place the final layer of raviolis on the top of over the top of the cheese, and spread the remaining sauce over the ravioli and top with the remaining cheese. And it says to bake uncovered for 45 minutes. Couple things. First of all, I'm not using frozen ravioli. I'm using refrigerated ravioli. That takes the cooking time from 45 minutes to 25 to 30 minutes. And so you can make this recipe so much faster if you're using refrigerated ravioli, or if you buy the frozen and you let it defrost, that's okay too. I'm gonna be using 2 packs of ravioli and 1 pack of tortellini because that's what I have on hand, and it just is easy to do that. They're all cheese filled, it's all pasta. It's just gonna look a little bit different when it's in the bowl. The other thing, I hate layering lasagnas. So I will never buy lasagna noodles. Very, very rarely do you ever see me using actual lasagna noodles, especially the kind that you have to boil. It's just too much trouble. A lot of them break, and it's just too much of a fuss. So what I do is I mix the pasta sauce, the pasta, in this case the ravioli and the tortellini, and the cheese, or some of the cheese, all in the bowl together, and just pour it in, because it doesn't have to be in layers. And I don't have time to be laying out individual raviolis in a single layer. Are you guys with me? We're all in a hurry, right? I have our cheese. I'm probably gonna grate some more, but I went ahead and pre-shredded some of this. Have you guys seen these mixing bowls? These are our plastic mixing bowls, and now we have 2 more sizes. So we already carried the 4-quart, the 6-quart. So now we have a 2, 4, and 6-quart bowl. They nest together nicely for storage, just like this. They are dishwasher safe, microwave safe, and they also have a little silicone ring on the bottom to keep them from slipping and sliding around. So I've got our cheese in the small one. I'm gonna set the small and the large one aside, and we're gonna mix everything here. So hopefully we'll be able to get all of our sauce and all of our noodles in here. Now, the tortellini was in the freezer, so I took it out maybe 45 minutes ago. It doesn't take long for this to defrost, so we're gonna add in 1 package of cheese tortellini. Let me go stir our sauce, and you could use like spinach filled or meat filled ravioli if you wanted to. Let's see. Let me give this a quick stir, and I'll be right back. Oh, it smells so good. Can you guys smell that? Okay, 2.5 minutes. Okay, so we have our ravioli, we have our tortellini. I'm gonna just see how these are stuck together. I'm just gonna peel them apart because it'll be easier for me to stir this when they're not stuck together. So pull those apart. And these have never been frozen. I just bought them refrigerated at Aldi and put them in my own refrigerator. All right, so we've got all of that, and I think what we'll do, trying to decide if I'm gonna be able to fit all of this in here. The meat, the sauce, I think we'll be able to do that. So let's go ahead and add our meat, and we'll stir that around a little bit, and then we'll add the sauce. I need to pour off that grease. I'm just gonna pick this up a little bit so it's not sitting in the grease that we drained off. If you guys haven't seen this colander, I really, really love it. It's such a great size. You know what, I think I'm gonna save that little bit. I may add that to the taco mixture. Let's see where we're at when I mix this. Remember, I told you guys I measure with my heart. Okay, so this is good. I'll add that sauce, and then I may or may not add the rest of that meat. We'll see what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, and then when we get all of this ready to go, it's gonna go in the oven. I have the oven preheated to 400 degrees. I'm gonna cook it, so it says when using refrigerator ravioli, then you're going to cook it 25 to 30 minutes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set it for about 20 minutes. And then I'm gonna add the breadsticks on the top, and those have to cook as the lid for 15 minutes, I believe. Yes, I'm gonna have to make sure that I don't put it in the oven too soon because I wanna make sure that I'm ready to do that. It's hard to time things when you're on camera. When you're not talking to anybody else and you're just doing your own thing, it's easy to just kind of go along. So we're gonna use pre-made dough, which is also from Aldi. So let me grab that out. This is the Mama Cozy's, which is Aldi brand, ready to bake pizza dough. And this is a 16-ounce package. The recipe calls for a package of 13.8 ounces of pizza dough. This particular recipe is most likely calling for a Pillsbury brand, which is fine. I like Pillsbury brand too, but they don't sell that at Aldi most of the time. Actually, I've never seen it there before. So let me grab our, I love this trivet set because I can take them apart. I'm gonna grab our pasta sauce. Let's add that to our ravioli. All right. Oh, this smells so good. And I love our Italian seasoning. Make sure you always open the lids that have something hot underneath away from you. I don't know if they have home ec classes anymore, but they should. And that's where you learn these little tidbits, right? All right, so we're gonna mix this together. And let's just pour it right over our sauce. Ooh, I'm making a mess, splashing it everywhere. Even splashed it on my iPad. I'll clean that up later. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of pull from the bottom here just to get that sauce on the bottom. And we can mix this around a little bit. Whoops. Let's see if I can get the rest of that in there without making too big of a mess. And this is a perfect fit. So this is our 6-quart bowl, holds this mixture perfectly. So this is the first time I have made this recipe, you guys. So I'm learning what products to use with it. So just gently, I'm sliding this down and just pulling up gently. And that just helps, you're almost folding this together. So now we don't have to do all of this in layers. It's way faster to do it this way. Let me clean up my mess because I need to bring this baker a little bit closer to me. All right, I splashed in the baker, but I'm not worried about that. So what we're gonna do is I'm just going to scoop out about half of this. Whoops. If I don't get this, if I manage to not get this on my clothes, it's gonna be a miracle. I should have worn an apron today. I stopped wearing aprons because it's one more thing for me to iron. One more thing for me to have to get ready when I'm getting ready to record. I usually record lots of videos in one day, and so it's funny, you'll see me in the same outfit in multiple videos. I had a consultant on my team ask me one time if I changed clothes in between videos, and I said, nope, I just keep going. So, all right, so let's put some cheese in here. And yum, you guys know my rule. If a little cheese is good, a lot's better. Whatever the recipe tells you to do, usually I double it. So this is what the recipe called for. We'll see what I think we need in just a minute. I think I can pour now without making too much of a mess. Too much splashing. Okay, so we'll spread this around. And you guys, homemade pasta sauce is just the way to go. And if you don't know how to make it, I have recipes on how to do it in the deluxe cooking blender in my recipe community. All right, so we're just gonna spread this around, add some cheese on the top, and see if we are going to need more. I'm gonna move this little guy over here. Okay. Now, you also wanna make sure, I would press down a little bit, because remember, we're gonna put that lid, the tray, right on the top of this. So I guess I better be careful with how much cheese I put in here, because I wanna make sure the tray doesn't stick to the cheese. But this is not gonna be enough, so we'll have to shred some more. So I'll show you our cheese grater. All right, so I shredded that cheese using our regular coarse grater, which is this one right here, and has this little food holder that comes up the bottom. I want to show you a different one. This is our double-sided grater. So you have a super coarse side and then a like a fine shredding side, like for Parmesan cheese. And where's my cheese? Here it is. My cheese was hiding. Let's just pop this open. And I'm going to go ahead and put our butter in the microwave because we want to melt this butter for our breadsticks. I don't love the microwave drawer, in case anybody's wondering. I don't like having to wait for it to open and wait for it to close. I like a microwave I can just pull the door open on. Now, you can see here that this gives us these super shreds, right? So if you like that look, then it's great. And if you like getting those big hunks of cheese in your food like I do, I love this for chili. And then this is your fine grating side. And when you start with a big block, you're gonna hold it with your hands, and then when you get, see this? When you get down to a little short piece, then you're gonna put it in the food holder and then slide up and down so that you don't cut your hands. I'm gonna go back to using the coarse side. Now, remember, if you see any products in this video that you like and that you would like to have in your kitchen, I would love the opportunity to help you. I am a consultant with the Pampered Chef. Been with it for over 23 years, so if you're a new subscriber, just know you're in really good hands here. I'll take great care of you. And I do earn commission on the products that I sell. So if you learn things from my videos, I would love for you to be a customer of mine. I would love to help you get the Pampered Chef that you want. Let me check on the butter, because this will not stop beeping at me. That's close enough for me. It's gonna sit for just a second anyways. Okay, so let's slide this up. Now, if you wanted to, this comes with another piece. You can stick this on the top and you can shred directly in the bowl. For me, I like to just shred right on the cutting mat. You just stick this in here, and most of the time I'm shredding more cheese than it's gonna fit in that little container. And this is all dishwasher safe. I'll show you how to take this apart. And remember, if you guys have any questions, just leave them in the comments. I'm always happy to respond to you guys. And I do my best. Hopefully I don't miss anybody. Thankfully, YouTube does a really good job of letting me know. I'm gonna hide this piece. Just kind of press it in there. And then, so Pampered Chef says, use 16 ounces of cheese. I did 24. So, a little's good, a lot's better. To take this cheese grater apart, you're gonna close it and just pull and push away on those top handles, and this is dishwasher safe. So I'll toss that in there. You do not throw away cheese. It is a sin. So just add those right there. And then I'm gonna put this in the oven. So for, what did I say, 20 minutes, and then we're gonna add those breadsticks on the top. So let me pop this in. Yum, yum, yum. Let me set a timer. I am guilty of not using a timer. So this is, or guilty of forgetting to set it when I'm doing videos. So 20 minutes, and if you haven't seen Pampered Chef's timer, it's 4 timers in one, so you can set 4 different timers. Now I'm gonna clean up my mess here really quickly, and then we're gonna make the breadsticks. I'm most excited about the breadsticks. I can't wait to try these. Some of my friends with Pampered Chef have already tested this recipe and told me how great it is, and it uses my new favorite seasoning from Pampered Chef, which is our garlic and Parmesan seasoning. That's the one we're gonna use. Okay, so let's get our pastry mat. Got our bench scraper and bowl scraper. Let me open this up. I love this because I get this really nice big surface area to work on, and I don't want that rolling away, so I'll tell you about that in a second. But let's go ahead and flour this surface. This is another mason jar. These are from Pampered Chef. They are BPA free, and I'm gonna just sprinkle some of this out around, and then I'm gonna have me a little for my hands. Now, if you haven't seen this cute little scoop, this is our new stainless scoop. I love it. It measures 1, 2, and 3 teaspoons and up to 2 tablespoons. So 3 teaspoons is a tablespoon, so keep that in mind. All right, so I'm just gonna rub this around, and then I'm gonna get a little bit on my hands and take our pizza dough out of the package. All right, and we're gonna just use our new tapered rolling pin, and I'm gonna roll this out, put a little bit of flour on here. So this says microwave the butter in a small microwave bowl, which we did, and we're gonna stir in our seasoning, which is a tablespoon of Pampered Chef's new garlic Parmesan seasoning, and then we're gonna, let's see, 8 strips. So let's see if we can do that. I'm trying to roll this out in about the size of the Pillsbury brand. So you have your bowl scraper if we had mixed this from scratch, and then we have a bench scraper. So let's see if I can get these in 8 pieces. So they're, let's see. Oops, I didn't go quite through there. There we go. Maybe. And then we'll brush these with oil and twist them, or brush them with butter rather, not oil. Almost there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I didn't think I did this one. All right, some of them are going to be a little bit smaller, and that's okay. All right. So let's see. Yep, so we're gonna take our butter. Y'all, if you haven't tried the garlic Parmesan, this was part of our Taste Buds subscription last year. We sort of tested it out. It's my favorite. Like this is, I'm using this seasoning in almost every meal right now. My family's gonna get so tired of it. So we have our butter, 2 tablespoons of butter, 1 tablespoon of seasoning. I think I twist these first, but let's see. Okay, I gotta read this. You guys ever do this? You have to read it to really understand it. So it says, fold the strips in half. Okay. Fold the strips in half and twist, and then place on the tray, and then brush them. See? I have to read the instructions so I know how to do this. Okay, so it sounds like we're folding them in half like this. Whoops, I didn't cut that. And then twisting them. So we'll put those, oops, twist a little harder on that and see if I can get it to not unroll. All right. This one is a little guy. Okay, fold them in half and twist. See if I can fit all of these on here. This dough doesn't want to stay twisted. I usually use Pillsbury when a recipe calls for it, but I'm so excited that Aldi is carrying pizza dough now, and it's ready to go. You just have to roll it out a little bit. Okay, 3 more to go, you guys. And then when our timer goes off in about 15 minutes, I will add this right on top of the lasagna. Now, I won't be staying with you live for the entire, here, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put these two together, so we're gonna have 7. For the entire cooking time. So what I'm gonna do this time is I'm gonna post pictures in my recipe community. And so if you haven't joined me there, make sure you go to theflipflopchef.com and join the group. Buttons at the top of the page. And you'll be able to see the actual recipe. I'll post the recipe with the picture of the finished product. And I'll hold up the cookbook so that you can see what it's supposed to look like. So you guys can see that's what the lasagna and the breadsticks should look like. Now I'm going to clean this up a little bit so that I have a little bit, so I don't get flour all over my dress. More flour, I should say. I'll tell you guys a funny story. So years ago, I worked for Chick-fil-A, and Miss Marie was the lady who made biscuits every morning. And I was one of the, whoops, I'm gonna make a mess with flour. I was one of the employees at Chick-fil-A who opened the restaurant every day. And this is at a dwarf house. So I know a lot of you guys probably don't even know what a dwarf house is because they're only in Georgia. And got flour all over me. But the dwarf houses are full service and self-serve Chick-fil-A locations. And Miss Marie, when I would come in the mornings, I didn't always realize that when she hugged me, she would leave handprints, flour handprints on my backside. Well, it was funny because I was a waitress and I worked a couple hours before anybody else came, so I was the only waitress there. And one morning this guy said, "Does your boyfriend work here?" And I was like, "No." And he said, "Well, where did you get those flour handprints on your backside?" And I was like, "Oh, that's from Miss Marie." So if any of you watching are like my old Chick-fil-A people, I miss y'all. Those were some fun times. All right, now I just got an extra little story. Now, there's more butter than there are breadsticks. So what do? Do you waste the butter? No, you just add more until you've used it all, okay? I'm a good Southern girl, and we don't waste butter, okay? So we'll butter this one up. That one's gonna be the best, that big fat one. And we'll bake these on top of our lasagna tray, and these will bake the last 15 minutes of our recipe. So that is how you make ravioli lasagna using Pampered Chef's new, let me see what it's called, make sure I tell you, the stone rectangular baker, and this is the stone serving tray. These are all new products for me, and so I have to learn all the names. I hope that you're excited to try this in your kitchen, and if you have any questions, please let me know. If I can help you with an order from Pampered Chef, please let me know that as well. And I will be back soon with more new products and recipes to share with you. So that's all I have for you today. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.